Hi, welcome to another episode of Bethany Talks About Stuff. I'm your host, Bethany F. DeVores, author of the Sea of Dressing Chronicles, available from Amazon. And I just wanted to take a quick minute to talk to you about the latest in the Henry Cavill saga that is the Netflix Witcher. It's hard for me to even talk about this. I'm so annoyed. So you guys know that Henry Cavill is one of my celebrity boyfriends, and I just love Henry Cavill. And I think I'm not alone here. People love Henry Cavill, particularly people in fandoms like mine, geeky fandoms. And the reason is Henry Cavill is also a geek. He understands fandoms because he is a fan. He's played The Witcher 3. He's played Warhammer. It's hard not to like Henry Cavill if you're in my kind of geeky camp. And I think in the last year and a half, we've just seen him treated like crap over and over. And he just didn't deserve all of this. He seems like a pretty decent human being too. Now, I don't know the man. He may be a real turd in real life. I don't know. But he seems like a nice human being. And even if I don't know anything else about him, the way he's been treated in social media and in public has just been gross. You guys know I've got several videos out there if you would like to see how I feel about it. One of my shorts got hundreds of views, which is a lot for me, when I just said that I knew James Gunn was lying. So let's kind of recap. We know Henry Cavill was Superman. I think next to Christopher Reeve, he was probably one of the most beloved Supermans that I know of. I thought he was probably absolutely perfect for that role. He did such a good job. And everybody I know in real life was like, oh yeah, Henry Cavill is Superman. That's just how it is. So then obviously he was told that he was going to be Superman, and he announced on social media, hey, I'm going to be Superman again. I'm very excited. Thumbs up! And then like a day later, he's like, okay, I'm not actually going to be Superman after all. There was a change or a miscommunication. I forget how he said it, but he's just basically like, sorry about the confusion. I'm not going to be Superman. That was horrifying. Like, if they weren't going to use him as Superman, why mislead him into thinking he was going to be? I don't know. And I know James Gunn said he didn't have anything to do with that. I am not buying that crap.
I want the truth!
I'm just saying, I've said it in videos before. I'm saying it again. I'm not buying that crap. Whatever. So we had that debacle. And then we find out he's also leaving Netflix's The Witcher. And it turns out, at first I thought, well, maybe he just decided he didn't want to do that anymore. At first, because he actually said he was going to leave The Witcher first. And everybody kind of assumed it was because he was going to be Superman and he was going to have too many conflicts and he had to pick one. And then it turns out that the atmosphere on the set was just horrible for him because he actually cares about the source material, and the people who are writing the show openly have mocked the source material. So they don't like it. He was treated badly. It sounds like it was a constant battle because he was constantly trying to get actual source material into the show. If I'm remembering right, he befriended one of the writers, and because they became friends and the writer was also lobbying for more of this, they fired the writer. I mean, could you imagine? You make friends with somebody and they get fired for being friends with you. That's pretty crummy. I mean, I can't help but think that had to be a pretty miserable set, right? So now we know that's probably what happened. And he's making his exit. And Liam Hemsworth is coming in as The Witcher. So all that's been bad enough. But now we have this lovely quote from a recent interview with the actress who plays Francesca in the Witcher series. And I quote, she says, "Of course it's sad, but honestly, I don't think it's going to affect the show that much. I feel like the show is so big and there's so many elements to it that I just feel like everything's going to be okay."
Stupid!
Really? Because I'm pretty sure like 80% of your audience tuned in because they liked Henry Cavill and they liked The Witcher. So they liked The Witcher, and the new Henry Cavill was a fan of The Witcher. So I know that I thought, well, how far off can they go? I know he's a diehard fan, so he's going to make sure they actually do follow through with sticking to the source material. But now we know he's leaving, and it's because they refuse to stick to the source material. I have a feeling that 80% of fans that tuned in for Henry Cavill will also be tuning out. Now, I initially said that I would give Liam Hemsworth a chance, but that was before I knew the reason for Henry Cavill leaving. Now that I know, I can't in good conscience keep watching it. So here's my plan. And frankly, if you're a Henry Cavill fan, and if this upsets you, I think this is a good plan for you as well. Now, do what you feel like you got to do. But personally, I think a strategy would be watch through the last episode with Henry Cavill, and as soon as he's gone, just stop watching it. Because then the numbers will drop and it'll be very evident why people are leaving the show. I think that's probably going to happen organically anyway, but that is absolutely my plan. I had actually thought at some point, well, I'm not even going to watch the rest of it, even if Henry Cavill's in it. But instead, I am going to watch it because I want those numbers to drop sharply with the change. Now, this is nothing against Liam Hemsworth. I actually don't dislike him. I think he's a decent actor. I think he's a good looking fella. And y'all know my other celebrity boyfriend is Chris Hemsworth. And Liam, not bad. Okay. So nothing against Liam Hemsworth, but this is just stupid. It's just flat out stupid.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
I don't know why this keeps happening. You would think that these showrunners would have learned their lesson with Rings of Power, because Amazon can say what they want, but we all know, and it has come out, that they fudged all those numbers. So while they said, oh, it's the most viewed and all this stuff, it really wasn't the hit that they made it out to be. And yet it was the most expensive TV show in the history of TV shows. And then it kind of flopped. So, and I submit to you that the reason is that these big companies now lay down. So these big companies keep doing this. They keep buying these IPs. And obviously they're buying these IPs because they want the built-in fan base. Then they insult the built-in fan base, which leads me to ask the question, who are they making these shows for? I mean, Rings of Power cost, as my nephew pointed out, $1.2 billion to make. And then it kind of flopped. I mean, even if it had decent numbers, which we know it didn't because Amazon lied, even if it had, it still had to be astronomical to make it worth that amount of money. And the Tolkien fans said, we're done. You can insult us if you want. We don't care. We're not watching this crap and we're not supporting it. It's not Tolkien. You guys have perverted the lore. You've ruined these characters. Galadriel is terrible. Nobody's interested. Anyway, Tolkien fans don't care. If you call us names, we're going to honor the legacy of Tolkien himself. He didn't like allegory. We didn't need a Lord of the Rings that's made to reflect modern times. That's not why anybody wants to watch a Lord of the Rings franchise product. So, bad choice. So now it's kind of like every franchise just keeps doing this and then they're not doing well. And they just keep doing it anyway. So it's hard to feel sorry for you idiots. And I'm talking to these big studios now for doing this crap. And I don't say this very often. I said it about Rings of Power, and I'm going to say it about The Witcher. Although I don't say this very often, I hope it crashes and burns. Because as a fan of these IPs, I am sick of this nonsense. I'm just sick of it. I'm over it. If you don't want to respect the lore, don't expect the fandoms to hang on just because you stick the name on it. Hashtag justice for Henry Cavill. So sick of my boyfriend being mistreated. And yeah, that's where we are right now. Anyway, my Valhalla review is coming. However, I did figure out while I was editing and it was almost done that probably about a third did not record for whatever reason, or got chopped off or something. Something went wrong. So I had to re-record right before bed. It's going to be fine, but it's coming hopefully next week. In the meantime, I just wanted to complain about people being mean to my man, Henry Cavill. Anyway, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, all the things you're supposed to do out on the internet. Of course, please leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. And in any case, that's it for now.